So you have your steamer, which you are going to turn into Wormery. Like I mentioned in my previous video, this is actually 2 steamers that I bought. So these 3 came in the original steamer, and then I bought another set so that I could use the pot for cooking and I could use the trays to add extra levels to my Wormery. And this is how you're going to set up the Wormery. If you don't have worms already like I do, then you're going to need to go either to eBay, to Amazon, or look for a worm farm. There will be plenty in the UK, and it should cost you about £5 for a small packet of worms, and you're only going to need a small one because this is just going to be something that either lives in your cupboard or in your kitchen sideboard. You're not going to need a massive amount of worms, and if you get the environment right, they are going to reproduce very quickly, and you're soon going to have too many, which is not necessarily a problem. The whole system will balance itself out. If there's not enough food, then some of them die off, so it's not an issue. All you need to do is just buy the worms, but for myself, I need to go to my worm farms outside and I need to pull up a few worms for this new Wormery. At the very bottom, we don't put anything. This is just to catch all the liquid which drains through, and you want to save that because that's going to be food for any plants that you have. House plants, herbs, tea, doesn't matter. This is where the worms are going to start off with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some cardboard. This is just the packaging that came with this pan, but I ripped off the outside of it because you can see it had a bit of a sheen to it. You never want to put anything like this in with your worm farm because that sheen, that's plastic. They're not going to digest that, they're not going to like it, and in some cases the inks that these are printed with aren't good for the worms and will kill them. So I've ripped that off. This cardboard's fine. You can also use ripped up loo rolls, anything like this, which is just completely plain cardboard. Just put that in there. I'm stopping that because I want to cover up these holes so that the worms don't just fall right through into the bottom. They will crawl back up, but I just want to cover it up so that I don't just immediately start them off from a stressed position. Then I'm going to take some of that leaf mulch that I showed you how to sterilize in the oven the other day. So I know that this is sterilized. I know that there are no eggs in here which are surviving, and they're going to just infest my worm bin, and then are going to turn the kitchen into an absolute dump. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just put a couple of handfuls of this in here, and this is going to be the bedding for the worms. Just put a few of them. Good, so we've got the bedding, and now I need to go into the garden and fish some red wigglers out of my worm bin. That is a very active worm ball. Okay, when you see them doing this, this means that there's not enough food in here and that they're too cold or they're reproducing, one of the 3, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in the kitchen. And welcome to your new home. I know some people are going to find this a little bit gross, how I'm just not bothered by the worms, but honestly, after pushing 2 babies out of my body, this doesn't gross me out at all.